Hello Aries, FlashMan here. This is what the tarot cards, my tarot cards, say about the energies around you right now. If this is your reading Aries, you're starting off with the Hierophant. So you've just stepped something up. The Hierophant's all about tradition, conservative values perhaps, rules and procedures. And so perhaps in the recent days, you've decided that you want to take something further, whether this is a workplace project, perhaps a relationship, and you've started talking about, well, listen, where is this going? And I'm feeling it's a really good direction for your growth. And I'm feeling the Hierophant's all about long-term energy as well. So if this is your reading Aries, hang around. This is about you and your growing commitment to something that you've just started, whether it's a relationship or a work project or some new idea you've got. Perhaps all this sitting around at home in this current climate has given you some great ideas, which will be grounded by this very grounded Hierophant energy. Okay, so what's contributed to this, Aries? The Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is all about turning your back on something, I'm feeling here. Turning your back to save some money. You'll see here this person clutching onto their pentacles tightly. One close to his chest, another one stomping down, another one's on his head. And you'll see the city in the background, as though this person has turned their back on the city or the group or whatever that is, and they've gone to save some money or to hold back on something. You'll know what that is. Perhaps we can clarify that a bit later. Sometimes this card talks about going away to study. See how he's got the pentacle on the head? There's some kind of study to advance yourself perhaps, but at the same time you're saving money. See that? And turning your back on the group. So it looks like something you've really committed to and maybe even put your money towards it as well. Okay, what is your conscious goal? Your conscious goal is the Three of Pentacles. So your Three of Pentacles is talking about working with a team. You're thinking about like collaborating somehow, perhaps even online. If you're a musician, some of you, you might be feeling that you want to swap some files or get something going and make the most of this situation to see where perhaps technology can take you in the musical field as far as mixing and matching musical styles, that kind of things. That's what I'm getting there. There's also an element of building something. So you'll see these two people here looking up at this person standing on the bench, and he looks like he's a builder, and they've interrupted him to ask him about their own plans. And so that might be something that you're heading towards in the next little while, if it's not happening for you right now. Okay, Aries, it's a tough one. This is an unknown influence. Okay, so something that's going on around you which you don't necessarily realize is having an impact on all the other things around you. And this is the Ten of Swords. Now, the 10 does represent an end of a cycle, and there's no more swords left. So if something's just come to a head, perhaps there's been a conflict which has just been building and building, and it happened, the harsh words were said, the completion was done somehow, and this has put you onto this path here. But remembering that the swords are just a state of mind quite often, the way we're seeing things, and if you look straight through those swords, you'll see the sun coming up, and I'm feeling that's how you're feeling right now, particularly in Aries season. Aries, I'm feeling you are really positive about where you're heading with this new passion that you've got started. Your recent past. Queen of Swords. Okay, someone told it like it is. So you had to tell someone straight out, listen, these are the facts. Okay? And perhaps they didn't like this, what was said. Look at the body language on this queen. It's like she's saying, look, okay, John, I'm telling you, this is it. It's the way it's got to be. Perhaps you didn't say this in an emotional outburst. You said this in a quite matter-of-fact way, just like the Queen of Swords says it. But because she said it that way, or because you've said it that way, it was much more persuasive or convincing, or perhaps even final if someone wasn't getting the message. So whatever's happened in the recent past, this truth that you've spoken, this opinion that you've given, looking at the body language and look at the widow's bracelet on her wrist. So it could have been some kind of a breakup, saying that's the last straw, especially if it's connected to those 10 swords, you're out of there. Something like that, okay? Or there was definitely a truth being told by this queen. So what's your future energy? What's approaching for you, Aries? And you have the 6 of Pentacles. Great, 6 of Pentacles is about a payout sometimes, perhaps some kind of inheritance, some kind of a, I'm not feeling so much a loan as like a sort of a handout or something which you got and maybe someone else is missing out on, okay? So this could be a very lucky time for you, but I'm thinking you'll need to appreciate that someone else did miss out because of your victory somehow. But whatever it is, great for you. So fantastic. Now there's also a sense of balance coming here for you. You see this, the person handing out the stuff, they've got the scales, handing out the money by the looks of it. You've got the scales and he's trying to work out who gets what the fairest way, okay? So that's in your approaching influence. Now sometimes this can be your decision which you need to decide who gets what, and so that can be challenging sometimes. Not necessarily a negative thing, and not necessarily daunting, but it just might require you to speak very analytically, or to be very analytical. Okay. Now, what are you bringing to the situation? You have the High Priestess. She is the feminine expression of spirituality. So you've opened this period with the Hierophant, which is the masculine expression of spirituality, and here down in your position now you have the feminine one, which is a High Priestess. So your intuition right now is very strong. You'll be following your nose, really trusting yourself, or if you're not, you should be, because the veil between you and this and the spirit world behind this priestess here, this High Priestess, is very thin. So great time to meditate and really ask about where you're going next, or ask for help for the decisions to get you to your next place. Your environment, the way you see the world, the way the world sees you. Now this is the 5 of Wands. Bit of conflict around you. Sometimes it's childish fighting, just egos, people going stir crazy perhaps. But look, these people aren't really trying to hurt each other. They're just basically putting up walls around themselves when they behave this way. So there's some kind of a conflict around you. It's egos clashing. Someone just doesn't want to communicate. It could be you, or it could be someone in your environment. Okay. Sometimes it's about needing to make a decision, maybe 2 or 3 different ways amongst inside yourself, and you might be struggling inside yourself to make this call, whatever this is. Sometimes I get this from this card that you might be beating yourself up. You've made your decision now. You've moved on. You've made your commitment, whatever this is. Probably based on that Queen of Swords energy that we saw. You're just going to do what you've got to do. But there's always some kind of like a buyer's remorse, or feeling that you've made the wrong decision. But you've made it now. Just back yourself and try and get through this 5 of Wands energy, if that one was for you. If otherwise, yes, we're talking about someone just around you, just not playing the right rules. Okay, your hopes and fears. You have the Lovers card. Fantastic. So the Lovers card, yes, it is a card of really wanting to call in your soulmate, your lover. But I'm feeling in this case it could be a contract. So many of you are waiting for a contract, okay, something to sign which is going to sort you out. Perhaps some kind of a subcontracting arrangement. You'll see here both of those lovers, they're breathing the same energy. They're they're feeling all lovey-dovey. They seem to be protected by this angel up there, but each of them has their own territory on either side of that mountain. And so perhaps this contract that you're hoping for will allow you the independence to stand alone somehow, even though you'll be breathing another person's energy, or sharing another person's energy, working towards something together. Okay, and in your outcome, you have the Page of Wands. Fantastic. This is your card, Aries. Aries, this is all about a youthful enthusiasm, a fresh new start, feeling good about making something happen. The Page of Wands does represent fire, so we're talking about dropping the baggage from the past, moving forward. And you see this character here looking closely at this wand going, right, what's my next move? I've got all this space around me. Let me examine this closely. And there are leaves and growth on that wand. So whatever you're planning or committing to, it looks like you've got the right kind of enthusiasm to get that going, but to make it grow. The beauty of this card is you're doing it without too much planning, without overthinking anything. It's more about passion, and I reckon go for it. On the bottom of the deck, Aries, you've got the Devil card. Okay, so this can be obsessive thinking. Perhaps there's something you're doing too much, which is getting in the way or slowing you down somehow. Now, if this is not a negative habit or an obsessive way of thinking, this could be a Capricorn around you who is helping you out here. Perhaps there's some kind of, I'm feeling some kind of communications person or some kind of a money person who's helping you organise things this way and that. Either way, that's what I've got for you, Aries. Please like down there and subscribe, of course. So hopefully I'll talk to you again.